Hi and welcome to this week's Something for the Weekend. I'm Tony, Sales Manager here at Martin Lynch & Sons, and this week we've got some hot off the press breaking news, good and bad. Let's get the bad news out of the way first. Remember this? Kenwood's THD 75? Well, this week there is no review. It will be coming, so make sure you subscribe and you'll find out when. Now on to the good news. For those of you that remember, we did a little video on which Ofcom you should buy, and there was a little competition on that as well to win a cap. And I'd like to say congratulations to just one of you, and that's Brian, M7 Charlie Charlie Zulu. So Brian, if you'd like to email sales@hamradio.co.uk, and we'll be sending you this lovely Ofcom cap in the post straight away. Okay, so what's the other good news I hear you say? Well, as of today, 21st of February 2024, is Ofcom have finally released the long-awaited documents. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so you may remember a little while back Ofcom ran a proposal to make some changes to the licensing here in the UK, and today is the day that we finally got the update and what's going to be changed. I'm not going to go through all of this because obviously we'd be here for a long time, and it's probably worth printing off yourself and having a good read anyway. So we're going to do a brief overview and see what the changes are that have been confirmed so far. This is the first round of changes. There's going to be more changes coming up in the year as well, I think round about maybe the third, fourth quarter of the year. But these are the initial changes, and there's a lot of positives here, and a lot of them are the ones that you've been waiting for. So as I said, quick overview of this, and we're going to kind of have a look through, maybe mention some products that are going to be handy for you with the changes that are coming as well. So number one, updating of the license framework. So basically, permitted licensees are only going to be able to hold one personal call sign or one personal license. So if you have your foundation license, you've still got your intermediate license call sign, and you've now got your full call sign license, you're going to have to choose which one you want to keep. Now, I'm going to take it that obviously you're only going to be entitled to whatever the power limits are of that license that you hold. So it looks as if your intermediates and your foundations are going to go. So they're going to be revoked. It's not going to happen straight away. This is going to be one of those things that happens just a bit later on in the year, but you will be asked to revoke a couple of those call signs if you hold 3. Now, if you hold club licenses, don't worry, you can still hold, I think it's a maximum of 4 of those at the moment, so that's not an issue. So very good for us here at G2ML. Right, moving on from there, we're going to have a look here. There's going to be greater supervised third-party use of equipment. Basically means that if you want to show or introduce someone into the hobby and you've got your radio set up and you want to let them have a quick go, but obviously you're going to be supervising them, you can do that. You know, whereas before it was just the short greetings messages, you know, hello, this is Dave. Hello, Dave. Right, that's it, Dave, get off. It's not going to be that anymore now. Now you'll be able to let them work a few stations, hopefully bring in some new blood to the hobby as well, which will be great. And, you know, why not share your love for the hobby with people? Get them on the air and see what the magic's all about. All right, moving down. So number 2 of our brief overview is the streamlining and modernisation of call sign assignment. Basically, they're going to make the use of regional secondary locators, or the RSLs, optional. So if you're, for example, a Mike Whiskey or a Mike Mike, etc., you don't have to use that whiskey or the Mike to say where you are. Now, there's been a lot of debate about this. I've seen a lot of fellow YouTubers, etc., debating on this one and saying, well, I'm going to continue to use it. And I'm kind of with them in that way. That's more of a personal thing, obviously, rather than a Martin Lynch & Sons thing. It's just that it does really come in handy. And if I'm working VHF, UHF, and I'm working into Wales from England, you know, that's quite an achievement, and I'd like to know that. I don't have to quickly log on to a PC, find out where they are on QRZ.com, etc. So with that one, I'm a little bit, you know, it's optional. So if it's down to me, I'd like to continue to use it, and, you know, maybe leave a comment below and let us know what you think on that one. So moving down from there, the introduction of the RSL-E for those of us that are within England. So it's kind of strange, that one, because they're kind of saying it's optional if you want to use it. However, you can also use this one. So, you know, take it as it is, but To me, that kind of sounds like, well, we've got E for England now, so let's use that. And let's use the W's and the M's and the I's, etc. Right, moving down from there, simplifying the license terms for the use of call sign suffixes. So I had to ask a friend about this one, called a friend about this one, because I was a little bit like, well, it's not really explained that well. So from what we understand, having a little discussion on this, is it's basically the stroke part of it. So if you're doing stroke QRP, stroke wherever, stroke on the couch, for example, stroke in the garden, you're going to be able to use that. So bit of a strange one, but it's there and it's a change. So let's see what happens. Let's see if people start to embrace it. Okay, moving on. Number 3. Adjusting technical parameters to reflect the evolving needs of the hobby and provide radio amateurs with greater operating freedom. Sounds exciting, doesn't it? So let's have a look and see what they've changed. So they're going to enable foundation and intermediate licenses to use internet-based technologies for remote control operations. Brilliant. Big thumbs up when it comes to that. Thank you very much, Ofcom, for that. And it basically means if you have something like ICOM's IC705 that we discussed the other week, or 7610, Kenwood's TS590SG, 890SG, or even a Yaesu with an SCU LAN 10, then you're going to be able to operate remotely, put it at a remote location, maybe access it via your iPad, etc. And you know, this has been available to full licensees for some time, but it's great now that foundation licensees and intermediate holders, license holders, can do that as well. I think that's definitely a big thumbs up from me, and with the way that the technology is nowadays, perfect, absolutely perfect. Right, second on from that, enabling some beacon, gateway, data station and repeater use without the need for an NOV or notice of variation. It's going to be superb, because a lot of you are using stuff like Zoom spots, for example. I know quite a few of you have bought DR2 XEs repeaters, and it's a long process to go through setting all of that up. So that's going to be fun. Obviously, make sure you read, check local frequencies, etc., so you don't cause interference. And you know, do a little bit more research before you start doing that, and just make sure you do follow the guidelines and everything is above board. Otherwise, it could be carnage. Right, moving on from there, increasing the maximum permissible power levels for all licensees. Now, this is the one that's been absolutely huge when it comes to internet chitter chatter and on-air chitter chatter as well. So what does it mean? So foundation licensee holders, you're going to increase from 10 watts up to 25 watts, which is a great increase. And you will notice a difference as well. You know, if you've been playing by the rules and you've been at 10 watts for the last few years, etc., that increase to 25, you really are going to notice a difference. And again, make sure you sort your antennas out, and that will make a massive, massive difference. Intermediate licensees, you're going to go from 50 watts to 100 watts. So you can turn the power level up all the way on your modern radio, which is probably going to do 100 watts. And again, it's just going to make your signal maybe a little bit more stable, but it's a nice thing, you know. So, full licensees, what happens now? As you know, for those that have been licensed for a while, 400 watts has been our legal limit for quite some time. And finally, we're going to get a kilowatt. So 1 kW for full licensees. So now's probably the best time to start looking at stuff like the SPE, Lydia's, ACOM. Have a good look, you know, look for used examples, especially if you want to save a few pounds, because they can be quite pricey. But yeah, it's time to get one. You don't have to use it all the time, obviously, but you're allowed to now, so why not? Contests, or contesters, I should say, you know, you've got a kilowatt rather than 400 watts. But we'll leave that one there for you. Right, moving on from that, the liberalisation of the foundation licence to allow them to build their own equipment and access the 2.4 and 5 gigahertz band. So again, another little piece of extra operating bandwidth to the foundation licensee holders, which is great, because you know, the way things are at the moment, not everyone wants to operate HF, and it's nice that we can use those higher bands. So why not let everyone use them? You've gone through your license, you've sat your exams, etc. So why not? Now, If you don't want to make your own equipment for those bands and you're thinking, well, I do actually want to get on there, then take a look at Icom's IC905, the introduction of that. It's perfect, absolutely perfect if you want to get onto 2.4 gigs and above. Okay, next in line is allowing low power airborne use in some frequency bands. Obviously, all the details are going to be within the main document. However, I believe it's around about 400 milliwatts that you're allowed to use, and I need to check to see which bands they are going to be as well. But as I said, make sure you download a copy of this and go through it. It's your duty as a radio amateur to be up to date with everything. You know, it's a self-learning hobby, so make sure you go through that. Okay, number 4, providing clearer updated rules, i.e. terms and conditions, which are easy for everyone to understand. Now, that's one document. So it's not that easy to understand, is it? Let's be honest. So looking forward to that, and they're basically going to be aligning various terms and conditions with other licenses that Ofcom issues. So I don't know wholly what that means without reading this, but I'd like to think that whether you hold maybe a marine license, maybe a PMR license, etc., that it's all going to be roughly the same when it comes to terms. We'll see, but we'll have a little read through later on that. Simplifying conditions to remove unnecessary complexity and making them clearer. I'm up for anything that's going to make it simple. So that's that part of it there. So they've also made a smaller number of additional changes in response to representations received from stakeholders. Alongside this decision, they have published on their website. Now these are worth checking if you really want to get into this side of it. As you know, I'm a bit of an amateur radio operator, so the technical side of it, I'm going to need to read into this, but obviously check with your local clubs, etc., and maybe get online, watch a few videos for those that are in the know. But however, they're going to do an updated version of the amateur radio license documents, an updated version of the amateur radio wireless telegraphy licensing conditions booklet, an updated version of the notice of coordination, and an updated version of the amateur radio guidance document. So as I said, it is our duty as licensed radio amateurs that we do download these documents and do take a look at them as well. Good thing with the Ofcom website is there's a lot of help on there when it comes to deciphering what all the terms and conditions mean, and also just give them a call if you have to. You know, they're there to help. Also, don't forget the RSGB. If you're not a member of the RSGB, get yourself signed up. Again, they've worked with Ofcom all the way throughout this document, and if you're not too sure of anything, that's what they're there for. They're there to support the hobby. So get yourself signed up to the RSGB. Some other little notes on here. All amateur radio licenses are effectively varied as of today's date. So that's the 21st of February 2024. So that day's already gone. Some of you are going to know that this has happened. For those that don't, it basically means enjoy what I've just discussed with you. You know, the hobby's moving forward. It's not going stale. We are progressing. Stuff like the remote operating, for example, the change of the call signs, RSLs. Yeah, you know, let's go forward. Anyway, I'm going to kind of leave it there for now. As I said, we're going to be working on the video for Chemistry HD 75 and going into more details with that. However, if there's anything you need, anything you want, don't forget to call the store, visit the website at hamradio.co.uk. And also, if you fancy some extra discounts, now we've had to be a bit sly about this, I'm not too sure Martin knows about this one, but we do have a WhatsApp channel, and if you scan the QR code that will be present, it basically means you can get some offers. And with the exciting news about the 1 kilowatt power limits, we actually posted a little message on there today, and a few of you have saved a few £100 on buying a linear. And if you want to be part of that channel, get yourself signed up, and you never know, it just might be something that you want. So take care and enjoy the additional benefits to your hobby. See you soon.